all my kings, my queens, my princes, and my princesses. Robb is now officially dropping jewels with Julien Virgin, presented by Flatline Cinema.
Julien Virgin.
Jay, how you living, B?
First off, let me say, what a wonderful production this is.
Respect, respect.
I'm living a lot more well now that I've been here, you know what I mean?
I appreciate you, man, for actually taking time, man, sitting down with us. I know this has been a super long time in the making. We've been following your growth as a person, as a young man, as a producer. The last 5-6 years, man, it's really, I want to say, since you really started, man. So, for those who don't know, who is Robb? What does Robb do? And most importantly, why does Robb do that?
Robb makes beats because that's really the only hobby that I like to do, and I get paid for it. That's a pretty great way to live life.
Most definitely, man. I know the first time I was ever introduced to you was, I want to say, about 5 years ago. I think you were 17. I was driving down the street on the way from school, and I heard Swag Surf God, the song Special. And since then, I was like, that kid is special. And it's been a minute, and we ended up just talking to each other via social media, and now you're here years later, man. So tell us how you got started, man. What was the inspiration?
I mean, I've always really been into music. I've always been surrounded by it. Like, my dad is a producer.
Really?
Yeah. And then my mom just has a great musical palette as well. So I've grown up pretty much always surrounded by music, and it's kind of just shaped how I go about life and things like that.
As I listen to your music, I see there's a very heavy R&B influence, and I always think obviously your mom was listening to a lot of the 90s and early 2000s R&B scene.
Pretty much, like Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, Total, just
A. Marie.
A. Marie was that raised me pretty much. That album is probably one of the very first albums that's in my memory. So that was definitely a big influence on just how I make music, for sure.
We started out, again, I heard your project SSG, Swag Surf God. That was what seems like years ago. Now we're on the heels of you releasing Trash Volume 4. That's a lot of projects, man. I mean, we could talk about all the other ones in between, man, but from SSG and anything else that you put out before then till now, how have you grown as a producer?
Well, I can, for one, say that I'm a lot better, way better than maybe the SSG days. But I'm definitely more refined. I'm more, I don't know. I'm grown now, so I'm a little bit more about the business and things like that. Trying to eat. Not much has changed. Just my abilities, really, and just I guess my musical palette. I'm into different things now. Besides that, I'm still just having fun.
You've been growing along the way, as well as your following and the amount of people who are familiar with Robb, man. Now you're a part of Soulection. You're touring the world. I met up with you a couple days ago. You in the street, somebody yelling like, "Yo, I love you, Jay. It's love out here, man."
Yo, first of all, that never happens. Of course, that will happen when you see me. I've never had that happen, at least not here, not in Atlanta. I've had that happen in New York, because New York is small, and I'm always up there, or I used to always be up there.
Sure.
But that's never happened before. I was just surprised. I was just like, what a day it's been.
How does it feel now that people are recognizing you for your talents and your passion?
A part of me still doesn't believe it.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. It's pretty it's always refreshing to get a nice reminder that oh no, people care about the things that I make, or I affect people in some way, whether it's they listen to it, they get hyped, they get happy, whatever. I don't know. I think 17-year-old me would be like, yo, nuts,
17-year-old you. When we spoke, I asked you some things that you wanted to get accomplished moving forward.
I have no idea what I told you.
One of the things that you said that you wanted a Soulection white label. And it was such a beautiful thing years later seeing that come to fruition, man.
Yeah.
Tell us Not only about that white label, but how did you get started with Soulection?
Well, it all started when like Joe K had started playing some songs of mine on the station. This was when they had just moved to Apple Music, so like I downloaded Apple Music. I was like, all right, I'm about to peep. And then I'm just listening one day, like, and back then I would listen to see if like maybe I make, like I'll make it in one. And then I made it in one day, and I was like, what? Yeah. Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And then it kept happening more and more. And then one day I got a DM from Joe. He was just like, I love your music, like send more stuff anytime, whatever. So, that was like the initial like relationship kind of thing. Maybe 9 months had gone by, and then I had been sending him music, like I got his number, and like we chatted a bit. And then wait, I'm tripping. I think I met him and this guy named Monty, who used to be a part of Soulection, who's no longer there. Yeah, I had met him and Joe randomly one time. It was in New York. It was very brief. I was with Najee. We met for like a hot second. I met Sango at the same time. But at this point, I don't know any of them yet. I'm still like 18 and like, doughy-eyed and whatnot. So I get an email from them. They're like, you want to be a part of this compilation we're doing? And then, I was like, yeah. I never made a song so fast in my life. I made that song from scratch.
Which song was this?
It's called Love. It was for the Promise Once More compilation that they did. I made that song in like a day. Like the whole thing was done in a day. Like I called B, I was like, you gotta come over, you gotta record, or you need to hear this beat. And then I sent it to Isjar the same day, and then it all came together very quickly because they gave me a deadline. They were like, okay, but you gotta have it in like 3 days. I was like, all right.
The song was incredible. It's one of your best songs, in my humble opinion. The song is incredible.
Well, I also think so. I really tried to like go extra ham. I'm usually lazy with music, so like that was one of like my, let me get horns and let me add 2 bridges and let me make it the biggest spectacle of musicianship that I can pull out of my pockets. So then we released it, and then maybe a month after that, they're like, hey, we're doing our 6-year anniversary. You want to come play? I was like, yeah,
you think?
Sure. They was like, okay, cool. We'll fly you out. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's like, oh, and we'll pay you. I was like, oh, great. This is wonderful. I get to go for free and I get paid. This is, I'm on the moon at this point. Yeah, I get there, I meet everybody. I was so nervous though, Jesus, man. Ooh. I was nervous because like, these are all people that I look up to.
Indeed.
So, and then like, I'm also like the youngest in the crew. So I'm just
How
like,
old are you at the song?
18.
Word.
18, yeah. But yeah, I played, it went well. I think, I don't know. I was still learning how to like play in front of people or like, like be on stage or be around other people, Because like I'm used to just producing in my room. Long story short, I met them. We all kind of like each other, so it's been that way ever since. And then the white label came that later on that year, that November.
Following that release, how has things changed, man, and you actually being a part of Soulection? Like, how has that helped not only elevate you as a man, but elevate you as a brand?
It helped get like my name out there for sure. Like people know who I am, but I do feel like I kind of put myself in a little box there. Just because I was really in that R&B vibe at the moment, and it's all I made. Yeah. And then now I'm not so much in the R&B like that, like I used to. So now I'm like, how do I like make rap beats? Or like, I don't know, how do I like produce for rappers? I don't want to do like R&B type stuff. Cause I can make all kinds of beats. I think I finally figured out how to just, make whatever I want and still get looked at as like, I can do many different things.
So you've been growing and evolving as a man. You lived in New York for a minute. Now we're here in Atlanta. What has that been like, growing with the music and growing with your audience?
It's hard to put it into words because like it's life,
For sure.
But I'd say it's just been a very eye-opening experience so far. I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm only 22, so I still got a long way to go. But so far, I think I've just been learning a lot about living and just exploring your passions. And, you know, just like generic stuff, but it's important.
What's been the toughest part?
When I had moved to New York, I had just signed a deal and I got a stupid check. And I blew it. Oh man, I blew it so.
What'd you blow it on, bro? What was you blow it on, man?
Mainly rent in New York City and furniture. I bought a lot of furniture. I shopped at West Elm like an idiot. Oh man, I was like, oh look at that couch. Let me get that couch. Let me get this. Let me get this coffee table that costs like $800.
You still got that furniture?
Nope. I sold it. So when I left New York, I sold stuff because me and my girl decided to go travel in Asia for like the rest of the year.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I don't need any possessions. Like I don't need any of this. Let me sell it all, and you know.
Where in Asia did you go?
First stop was Bangkok, Bali, Malaysia, Tokyo.
What did that experience teach you, man?
How big the world is, and also just how similar every place is to one another, you know, like, cause we're all, you know, we all have the same human experience. So like, there's a few things that are different, but overall it's the same. It's always the same. People are people, you know what I mean? Like you go and make connections with people, interact with people, and it's always like it's always fun.
That's awesome that you had an opportunity to actually just go out there and just do that and just be free for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I don't take for granted at all. Like to be able to just go and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Asia for the year and be able to do it and come back home and just have that experience is something I don't take for granted at all.
What encouraged the move to Atlanta?
Well, me and my girl had come back. We were like, we don't want to go back to New York because it's too expensive, and we don't want to go back to Maryland because that's boring. So where should we go next? And it was between LA and Atlanta, and we were like, let's try Atlanta because like I have family here, she has family here. We were like, okay, let's try it out. Let's see, you know. Let's see what it's like. Yeah, and we just showed up and just got a place.
How's the experience been thus far?
Well, I don't know if it's much of an experience, but for the few months that we had of being able to be outside, it's pretty cool. There's a certain charm about Atlanta that I really like. Also, the food's great, but I'll probably end up moving to LA at some point.
In this time, I know things have been shut down due to COVID, the quarantine. How has this helped you like grow with your music though? You just having time just to not be out here on the scene, but just be really in the studio.
It's helped me in a lot. It's allowed me to focus more on what I want to do with music. Going from like a whole almost 2 years of just DJing consistently, like it definitely like affected how I made music. Like if you listen to like the Last Trash volume, it's very like high energy, like very like fast-paced, fast-moving club tracks, which is great.
Awesome. I play a lot of the Trash 3
It's great. No,
at the club.
I mean, Trash 3 sold a lot, so I think it was a good thing. But it's very different from the other Trashes, just because the other Trashes are kind of just me, you know. The first two are me in my mother's house, just like making beats or whatever. I'm not really in that environment. Whereas Trash 3, I'm in New York City, I'm playing in clubs, I'm going to Europe, I'm going here, you know, It's very big. But yeah, just in reference to that, like music now has been more so very, I guess more personal. That sounds weird. More vibey, I don't know, like just more.
Personal might be the word, it's a little more intimate.
It's a little more intimate, it's a lot more soul into it than my music has been for the last maybe 2 years. It's not as high energy, but I think of nighttime whenever I listen to the things I've been making. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It's the wave.
Yeah, it's the wave. Look, if you hear it, you'll hear it, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Talking about trash. Why do you call it trash?
A part of me is like, this shit is not good, just because. Again, I overanalyze everything I do to the max. So like, even in DJing, like I hate when I DJ anywhere because I'll do one mess up and I go, oh, this is garbage. I hate this. But it started out as me basically trying to put out a compilation of just stuff that I didn't have any plans of doing anything with, just I didn't consider it good enough to do something with. Yeah, I was like, let me just make a mix, and what would I call it? It's my trash can of beats. Let me call it well, what's the original name? Robb's trash mix of trash beats.
Yeah.
Volume 1. You know?
I remember that. That had me riding to work.
Yeah.
Back in the day, yeah. Riding to the radio station, man. I used to listen to that. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. People really liked it, and I was like, huh? I work hard on one song like for 6 months and put it out, and it's like, oh, that's great. But then, you know, I'll put out the trash, and everyone's like, when you dropping more? I need more of that. And I'm just like, all right, well, I guess, you know, every year I'll see what's in my trash folder and I'll drop it, you know. But at this point, it's become more of like just like a yearly kind of compilation. So it's a mix of like my trash can stuff, but also like I'm like, oh, this would be good for, you know, like a trash series, you know what I mean?
Indeed, and you sell them on Bandcamp. Go ahead, plug where we can find that.
jrobbtheproducer.bandcamp.com. Literally just type in my name, you'll find it. I think I'm pretty search engine optimized these days.
Yeah, most definitely. Your name is out here on the streets, but you sell this piece of work, and this piece of work allows you to eat and pay your rent and remain independent.
Indeed.
So we always talked about how you decided to leave school and pursue being a full-time producer. Now that you're selling your music on the internet, like, what does that mean to be an entrepreneur?
Well, number one, shout out my mom who even got me set up correctly with that. She was like, you doing what? All right, we going down to City Hall today. We're gonna get all this knocked out. Give me $300. I was like, all right. Back then, I didn't know what the hell that was, but it has saved my butt currently. Like just having all like your business, your LLC, all that stuff together is very crucial. Anyone that's ever starting a business, get that done immediately. That's the first thing you should always get done. It helps for taxes, it helps for, you know, just the whole nine. It started out with me just selling the drum kits on my Selfie. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm kind of popping on SoundCloud, let me, you know, and they always ask about my drums, so I was like, all right, let me just give them to you, here you go, $10.
For a small fee.
For a small fee for a small loan of $10, you can have some fat kicks in your beats. So that was my first real like taste of like, oh, okay, this is like business, like, cause I sold a lot of drum kits. And
you hear your drum kits
everywhere.
Oh,
I hear them everywhere. I hear it in ads. I'm like, that's my snare. I hear it. but yeah, it started out with the drum kits, and then the trash series followed afterwards. It's just been nice to be able to just not have to work. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, I always consider myself pretty fortunate to never had been able, or never, wow, I don't know how to word this, to never have needed to work, like a job. I worked when I was like 17 because I didn't have anything yet, but like so far it just in music, like I've never really had to like step out of it and go back to work. Like it's always been pretty consistent. Again, shout out to the LLC. Like it's definitely enabled me to do a lot. For sure.
Definitely, man. Well, I'll tell you this, I'm a proud patron. I make sure I support a hustler every time I see a drop. Not only just because of the music that you produce, man, but just because of the person you are, and being able to really follow your journey to this point in time has really been a privilege, bro, to see you come from where you were to now sitting here right now, man. It's an honor. Now tell us about Trash Volume 4, man. What can the people expect?
Trash Volume 4, basically you can expect trash. It won't be good. You'll be very disappointed when you buy it, but you should go buy it so you can listen to it anyway. And then you can form that opinion for yourself. Also, I'll be putting all the other trash volumes up on Bandcamp. Stay tuned for the trash. It drops July 11th. Catch it on Beats One on July 11th as well. Look, we got a whole rollout. So, you know, it's gonna be real nice. We got ads. I dropped the ad today. We drop ads all week. You know, like when it comes to the trash, I try to make sure I do a good job of just promoting myself, because this is my one time a year that I get on Instagram. So go check it out.
You've been dropping a lot of music here recently, man. Talk about some of the artists that you prefer working with.
Well, currently I don't really have a preference. I have my favorites, of course. Like Devin Tracy's always a favorite. Xylo, the whole Play Nice gang. Shout out Play Nice, because that's just a beautiful concept. Yeah, Devin Tracy played nice. Cicero, we always were together. We just put out a song. We got another one coming out.
That poetry jam goes hard. That poetry jam is crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got one more coming out. We got a few coming out. I work with Elu J a lot. He actually just called me. I got to call him back. But besides that, I'm really just open to working with anyone who I deem to be like good at making music, which a lot of people are. So I'm always pretty open to things.
We're releasing Trash Volume 4 right now. What can we expect moving forward? Have your goals only gotten bigger? Like what are we prophesizing today?
I finally got new goals. It's been a while since I had a goal. I'm just having fun. Lately though, I think I want to really get into like my production bag and like place beats and write songs and the whole other side of making beats and the music industry and all that.
Most definitely, man. Before we wrap things up, man, I want your final thoughts. What do you want to like leave me with today?
Ooh, what gem do I want to drop?
Yeah, exactly. What jewel do you want to drop?
What jewel do I want to drop?
But you can drop a gem too. It's all good.
Whatever you think is how things are, stop for a second and think it's not. Just to see. Like, try and challenge your own way of thinking, because 9 times out of 10 we're all biased and we all have a brain that tries to like make certain of everything, but everything's always changing, so no one's ever really certain of a thing. I guess just take a moment to step out of yourself and be objective about life.
Hey, well, with that being said, Robb, I appreciate you for taking some time out today.
Thank you for having me.
To drop some jewels with Julien Virgin, presented by Flatline Cinema.
Yes, sir.
You getting it here and only here. You know the vibes.
And this guy named Monty, who used to be a part of Soulection, is no longer there, but shout out Monty. I love that.
Shout out Monty Booker.
No, not Monty Booker.
Did you just switch your microphone?
No, I didn't.
Switch your mic always in that hand when you ended it?
No. But how am I supposed to dap him?
But it's every man that switched.
Gotta have my producer, you feel me?
Of course. It's a different
Monty
Love.
2099?
No.
Somebody count me in since y'all talking shit.
Oh, man.
I'm tripping. You had a song with him too back in the day, though. You know what I'm talking about.
What, Monty 2099? No, I didn't.
I'm tripping.
I've never worked with him.
Side note.